The Stars' offseason plans have been revealed as multiple insiders say that Jason Robertson is on his way out of Dallas. We're going to break down the real reason behind this and talk about another player who might be on the way out with him coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into it, we just want to say if you want to keep up to date on all the news around the Dallas Stars and every team in the NHL, we'll be here daily keeping you up on everything that's happening this offseason. So make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, we got a big topic to talk about today, and that is Jason Robertson being on the trade block for the Dallas Stars. As we see here from David Pagnotta, he says the Texas Dallas Stars are indeed taking calls on Jason Robertson, but GM Jim Nils is hesitant to move him as they look to free up some cap space. They also say here, I'm told they're shopping Mason Marchment as well, who we will talk about later in this video, and he is entering the final deal of his current contract at a $4.5 million AAV hit. But it isn't just from David Pagnotta. We're also hearing from Jeff Marek saying that Jason Robertson trade rumors first RFA negotiation with Robertson was tricky. There's a fear about his arbitration case again next summer, meaning that maybe the Dallas Stars don't want to go into another tough, arbitration with this player, and maybe they say, hey, we got our guy now in Rantanen, maybe we move on from him. I mean, obviously, Jason Robertson has been one heck of a player for this team during his time in Dallas. I mean, he had a 109-point season just 3 seasons ago. Now coming off back-to-back 80-point seasons, almost averaging a point per game. 35 goals, 45 assists. We know how good this guy is. He's such a great goal scorer, and he has one of the best shots in the entire league. I mean, look at these numbers. 211 shots on the season this year, and he was actually shooting 16%, which is pretty good numbers, and he's a big body, and the big thing here is the age. He's 25. He's right into the prime of his career right now, and it's looking like the Dallas Stars are wanting to move on from him, and I think it makes sense to me here. I think obviously you go out, you kind of throw everything at the wall at the trade deadline and just before to build this team to be a Stanley Cup team, and then you go out into the playoffs and you just don't get it done, and then your coach makes a bad decision by pulling the goalie in a do or die game, and it just all went downhill for the Dallas Stars. And it kind of seems to me right now they're in they're just in damage control mode, and they just want to make this work, and they think maybe moving Jason Robertson out and moving up and freeing up some cap and bringing in maybe some fresh faces, maybe a younger face could help revitalize this team. And there was also another report that come out here and said, obviously we look at his contract that is at $7.75 million right now, and there was another report that come out and said that Jason Robertson's name is out there, could be moved to make room for Granlund, for a Granlund extension. And if we just take a look at the lines at the final game of the season, we've seen Jason Robertson, as you've seen, was at $7.7 million on the cap, playing on this third line on the left wing. And it seems like they liked what they've seen out of Mikael Granlund and what he's brought to this team. I think, obviously, being one of the best playmakers, one of the most underrated playmakers in the league, I would say Mikael Granlund, coming over from the Sharks, really had a tremendous season with this Dallas team. And maybe they're saying, hey, maybe we want this more experienced guy to pair with Rantanen, our new star in town. Before Rantanen was there, the star in town was Jason Robertson, and then Rantanen kind of came in and stole his spotlight. So that's why I think the Dallas Stars are ready to move on from him here. I think it's just, in fact, to do with, obviously, Jason Robertson maybe underperforming like he was. I mean, he's still almost a point-per-game player, so he's not really underperforming. I mean, he comes in, has a 100-point season, and then maybe expectations are high for him because of that. But I think he's a very solid player, and I think it's just unfortunate that he has so many great players in front of him in this lineup, and he did struggle in the playoffs. I believe he had like 8 points through 11 games, which isn't bad, but I mean, you want more out of your star player. There's no doubt about that. I mean, especially with what Rantanen did for this team. And obviously, just one more thing here about Rantanen. They also say they wonder if Dallas goes back to Carolina, asking for some of their draft capital back from the Rantanen trade for Jason Robertson. I think this is a very interesting point from Jeff Marek, because obviously they did give up a lot to bring in Rantanen in. So maybe they say, hey, maybe they made a deal, an unknown deal, that maybe they say at the end of the season, we're going to trade Jason Robertson, let's just get this deal done so we can get our guy here and try to go win a cup. And I think that's very interesting, because if we just take a look at what Carolina has right now, the guy that stands out to me going back in this trade would be Jackson Blake. Jackson Blake, at 21 years old, had a great season in Carolina, really broke out this year. And there's also another guy there in Seth Jarvis, but, that's their guy. Seth Jarvis is their guy. So I don't see him coming back. I've seen a lot of Stars fans online saying, we need Jarvis if we're giving Robertson an up here, but I think you give Robertson up here, this makes this team way more deep on that left side. Obviously, instead of Hall there, you would have Robertson there on that left side with Jesper Kotkaniemi, and maybe even potentially on the top line with Aho and Jarvis, which that line would be absolutely lethal. I think it helps Carolina more to get a guy like Jason Robertson, and maybe they are willing to give back, or are willing to give up a big piece of their future in Jackson Blake or even Logan Stankoven to come back the other way for this trade to happen. I love this trade. I think it is one that makes the most sense here. I mean, obviously we've seen some big action happen between these two teams earlier this season. It's definitely something that I will be looking out for. I mean, obviously Robertson's going to be looking for an extension this year, so he's going to be asking for some big money, and I think Carolina has the money to chuck around now that they traded Rantanen away just before, or just at the deadline. So it's very interesting. There's another team that does stick out to me here that maybe you guys, it's a bit of a stretch, but I like it. I think we've seen just over the last little while rumors around Marty Nikas and how that this team is looking to move on from him. So that's one thing that interests me. You're getting a guy around the same age at 26 years old, and Marty Nikas, a guy who came over from Carolina, went to Colorado, and really had a great second half to the season with this team. And I think maybe getting him over into Dallas would really help out, because if we just take a look at Dallas's roster, on the right side, they are kind of weak. I mean, they go Sagan, Bourque, Blackwell here in their last playoff game. So you bring a guy like Marty Nikas in, you get this guy as the second right wing behind Mikko Rantanen, playing with Duchene, potentially Marchment if he doesn't move, or potentially Wyatt Johnston even moves up to that second line next year. That's the trade I like. If I'm a Dallas Stars fan, I'm saying, yeah, that's the one. That's the trade I really like. I would love to see Marty Nikas in the green and white, because I think he is the perfect fit for this team. They don't really need a left wing. It's nice to keep Jason Robertson, because I think he's a tremendous player, but if they're looking to move on from him, either Jackson Blake going young or Marty Nikas going around the same age is definitely the way to go. But before we do finish up on this video, we got to talk about the other player who was involved in this, and that's Mason Marchment. Mason Marchment, they say obviously he's entering his final year of the deal, and they're looking to shop him around as well. And it's very interesting. Mason Marchment, like they said, he's going into his last year of his deal at $4.5 million. Very affordable contract for a lot of trading teams. I mean, if we just take a look at what he did this season, I think this guy is a tremendous second line, middle six player. I think he's physical. He's not afraid to lay the body. He had 79 hits. He's 6'5". He's a big guy to park in front of that net and whip pucks at, and he's great at tipping them in. I mean, just look. He had 47 points this year with 22 goals, 25 assists. That's almost even numbers. That's even distribution. I think it's great from a middle six guy, and I think this team that I'm going to bring up would be the perfect home for him, and that is the LA Kings. I think the LA Kings could definitely use Mason Marchment. He just screams LA Kings to me. He just has it in him. That's the type of game that they do play. And I think the LA Kings do have something to offer back to Dallas here. I mean, just dive into it here. Just take a look at their depth chart via Puckpedia here. They do have, a lot of guys on that left side. I mean, Turcotte obviously being 24, Fiala. But what I'm looking at here in regards of return to Dallas, I look at a guy like maybe Philip Deneau or I know he's a bit older, he's 32, I mean, but the Dallas Stars are competing. I'm looking at a guy like Philip Deneau. I'm also looking at a guy maybe like Kevin Fiala. Maybe you'd have to give up more to get that guy. I think you 100% would. Or if they are looking more right wing, I think Laferriere has been a very solid player for this LA Kings team over this last little while. And at only 23 years old, I think they could definitely get a deal done there. But I think that's a trade that works out for both sides. This is definitely the home that I do see for Mason Marchment. And I do think that if I'm a Stars fan, I do not want to see Marchment go. I do not want to see Robertson go because both of these guys have been tremendous players for your team. But, at the end of the day, if that's what Jim Neill wants to do, that's all you can do as fans is hope for the best return on both ends. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on everything we talked about here in the video. Who do you think you're getting back for Robertson? Who do you think you're getting back for Marchment? Love to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. But if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. As always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.